Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Art Games, and today we will be talking about a From the Webs tournament that we held in a community. It was very fun to play in. I also contributed a craft, and here are the matchups and the crafts, which you can all see for all your viewing pleasures. The rules of this tournament were no submarines, max cost 100k, and I think that's what's pretty much it. There were also general no cheese rules like nukes, etc., or spin clipping, things like that. But in terms of all the generalistic rules, that's pretty much it. So I think we'll just get straight into it. Get into the first match, but first I want to explain the contestants. On one hand, there is the practical problem made by Marie, which has these amazing dual-fire AP heat guns. It has 2 barrels per gun, but each barrel fires 2 projectiles per shot because it's a real assisted gun. And those heat guns or AP heat guns can definitely do a real bit of damage if they hit. It also has decent armor, so it'll be able to take a lot of hits, especially around the water side. Its weaknesses are a lack of secondary weapons, meaning that if those guns get taken out, it's over. Its missile defenses are quite lacking. It only has 5 medium interceptors, which is not enough against some of the craft in this tournament. And due to being a boat, its speed is quite suboptimal. On the other side, we have the Penumbra. Its strengths are speed. It's very fast. It has 2 massive thrusters on the side. And the big flamethrower that you can see in the picture. That flamethrower is very dangerous. I recommend that you do not get hit by it. It also has strong armor, especially on the front, so it'll be quite hard to kill. And it also has missile secondaries, which simultaneously act as flares, meaning that they're probably going to be very hard to hit with your own missiles. Its only weakness, in my opinion, is that it really needs to get close, because 80% of its damage output is in that flamethrower, meaning that if you have a craft that is able to go the same speed or faster, you'll most likely be able to kill the Penumbra with no issues. So, getting into the first battle, we can see the Penumbra and the practical problem going at it. The practical problem is, of course, turning to expose its broadside, but that's where the flamethrower comes in. The Penumbra only needs to get that flamethrower on target, and here we can see one of the biggest weaknesses of the practical problem. Its guns don't have set boundaries to fire. So if the Penumbra moves around it, its guns will get stuck. And those flares are very strong in terms of distracting, and they also look quite fine. But here you can see those guns are stuck on the wrong side because they don't have the right settings. So this matchup really favors the much more fast Penumbra. Once again, that flamethrower just doing a ton of damage. And the practical problem is also looking quite good while getting destroyed. It does have a shield here, which should protect against some things. I actually don't know if shields work on flamethrowers. Oh, yeah, those guns can do quite a bit of damage, but that's only if they hit. And I don't think they'll be doing a lot of hitting this matchup. And the Penumbra is very maneuverable, so it's quite capable of exploiting the much slower practical problem. And we can see that flamethrower just constantly pushing out more DPS, and sooner or later it's just going to be too much, especially if the practical problem can't fire back. Yeah. There's more and more damage. Oh, I can actually see that the thing on the top is a decoration, which is very fun. and it's just doing too much damage. Those guns are pretty much gone. It's just a slaughter from here. It's just a slaughter. I actually think it's quite an interesting decision to have your flares also be offensive missiles, because on one hand it means that they'll have less time in the air, meaning that they'll have less time to distract enemies, and of course offensively you're wasting slots on flares that you could have used on explosives. But if you have a limited budgets, they can actually be quite interesting. I might have to play around with that sooner or later. The practical problem is just leaving a trail of destroyed blocks in its wake. The Penumbra, it's just too maneuverable, too hard to hit. If you don't have like very good guns, and especially very fast firing guns, and guns with that are able to swivel quickly, you're just going to lose this matchup. And unfortunately, the practical problem does not have guns capable of swiveling quickly. I actually think that maybe having a few secondary missiles could have helped the practical problem here. Just being able to deliver a little bit of damage, even when its main guns are stuck. Yeah, but it's over. The superstructure is gone. One of its turrets is gone. Its AI is completely exposed, and the Penumbra has taken next to no damage at all. It's just a slaughter from here. Just a slaughter. So the Penumbra, it's still firing. I think it went down to like 99% at the worst, and there goes another turret on the practical problem. So it is now completely defenseless against the complete torrent of fire coming from above. Honestly, it's a surprise it's still floating. It has some decent construction if it's able to hold on for that long. There comes even more missiles. It's just a slaughter, and I think at this point the practical problem surrendered, which is quite a wise choice. Oh no, it didn't. So we'll just continue the slaughter. Poor practical problem. And there it goes. And this is a win for the Penumbra. Now, let's go on to the second match. It's the USS Mako versus the Platypus class missile boats. The USS Mako has a very strong gun. That's a dual APS gun, and it's very strong. It's full AP, so it'll go through almost everything. And it also has good armor, so it's able to tank quite a lot of hits. In terms of weaknesses, it's fairly slow. It's not able to maneuver that quickly, and it lacks missile defenses, and it's also quite unstable, especially in heavier waters. Then on the other side, there's the Platypus class missile boats, which is very fast. It can reach 80 meters a second. It has 29 missiles, of which 24 are anti-ship missiles and 5 are anti-air missiles. It has lots of active defenses. So it has flares, it has interceptor missiles, it has a CVS gun, which is that bulb in the middle, and it's quite redundant, so none of the even if you penetrate the ship, no single shot will be able to take down enough to render the ship combat ineffective, unless of course you fire lengthwise. Its weaknesses are that it has quite thin armor, so it's not able to tank a lot of hits, and due to the dense construction, if something penetrates the ship, it will most likely take out something important. On to the battle itself. The Platypus class missile boat spawns in and immediately fires its missiles and speeds off. Now, the Mako does have some missiles of its own, so it's not completely defenseless in a long-range fight. But you can see here that those missiles are doing quite a lot of damage. Although the USS Mako is at 99% still, so it's quite capable of tanking this damage, probably due to its good armor. Yeah, those rounds from the Mako aren't really hitting anything, which is very unfortunate for it. While the missiles, being of course guided, are much more likely to land hits. But the Platypus class missile boat is at 99%, so clearly some things must have landed. Probably those missiles. And there comes another volley. We can see that the EMP isn't really doing anything, but the high explosive is definitely doing some damage. And the Platypus class is just relentless in terms of firing missiles. The volleys never stop, which is why if you don't bring your anti-missile defenses, you just lose. Oh yeah, the USS Mako got rammed into the side of the world and is now being returned in a collapsed state. So we'll let this battle finish out, but of course we're going to redo this match afterwards because obviously this isn't fair, but I still wanted to show this match because the start is quite interesting in my opinion. So now it's just the Mako can't get back up, so it's just a slaughter. It's just going to get hit by missiles until it dies because of the world border. It's actually quite interesting how the world border looks. Like you can see it on the ocean floor. Everything just disappears. And it's also, if you look at the world border on land, it immediately moves from land to water. So the change is quite striking. But the Mako can get back up, even though it takes a while. But unfortunately, due to being underwater and defenseless for so long, the Platypus class has just been able to damage all of it, and either its AI, its local weapon controller is clearly down because that turret isn't aiming. So yeah, this is obviously unfair because who expects to run into the world border in some of these encounters? And yeah, it's over, and it's not very fun this way. So we're going to redo this battle afterwards. We discussed that amongst ourselves while doing the tournament. And there come even more missiles. The USS Mako is quite resilient, as you can see. It's taking a lot of damage, its superstructure is gone, its turret is disabled. Oh, but now we're in the second tournament, or the second match, I should say, my apologies. And the USS Mako is immediately sprinting to the sides, trying to use that main gun. But those missiles are relentless. I only just noticed that the Mako has a shield in front of its gun. That's interesting. But it makes sense to have shields in front of your guns for obvious reasons. Now those missiles, yeah, it's already at 93%. Those missiles are very, very dangerous. And due to the fact that the Platypus class stays at 2500 meters distance, it's very hard to hit it with APS unless you either use massive rail guns or you're very quick yourself. But it is the USS Mako is doing some damage. And of course it does have its own missiles, but the missile interceptors are just too strong on the yeah, you can see there. There's just too many missile interceptors. But its main gun is still firing. And it is doing some damage, clearly. And to be fair, the Platypus class doesn't need that much damage to go down. If you take down its a few of its pylons with the hydrofoils, it'll be able to you'll reduce its speed to like 20 meters per second at most, because it'll drop into the water, or worst, collapse. But now the Platypus class hides behind an island in a very cowardly way, which of course means that it's completely shielded from the Mako's gun, while the Mako does not have the same protection from its missiles. And now the Mako is also running into the ground, which is obviously very bad. Even more missiles, and it rams into the ground, unfortunately. You can see here that the Platypus is coming around the island, but it's too late. The Mako is stranded, its gun is gone. It's too late for the Mako. Which is a shame, because the Mako is quite a good-looking craft, in my opinion, and I just love the idea of monitors with a single massive gun on 100,000 resources. But it does get loose. So you can see here that the USS Mako is very resilient. It's able to take a lot of punishment and keep going, even if in a reduced capacity. But unfortunately, it just doesn't have the damage outputs to win this matchup, and doesn't have the missile defenses. If it did, I think, if it had enough interceptors, I think it would have probably won this battle, even if it would take a long time. But that's very surprising, in my opinion. Not many people brought missile defenses of adequate scale to this tournament. And of course, in 100k tournaments, the missile tends to dominate, because the missile is very good at low costs and low sizes. Yeah, this is the point where the Mako surrenders, and thus we move on to the next tournament. And this is between the C-100 Quesada and the Killylark. Starting with the C-100 Quesada, its strengths are, it has very heavy weapons. It has those two cramp cannons on the side that can do a lot of damage. And it has a central flamethrower, which, while not as good as the Penumbra's flamethrower, is still pretty strong. It's also very fast. It can close the distance in a very short amount of time. And it's also very large, so single hits are unlikely to hit critical areas. Its weaknesses are, of course, short range. Both cramp cannons and flamethrowers tend to work better at close ranges, so if your enemy can stay away from the Quesada, it's probably fine. And its construction is mostly made out of wood, so it's not capable of tanking that many hits. Now, there's the Killylark on the other side. Its strength is it has a very, very strong wheel-assisted main gun. Its weaknesses are that it's a fixed gun, so it can't rotate, it's not on a turret, it's just going to kill anything in front of it, but anything to the side or to the rear is going to kill it. I would also like to add that the gun is gonna absolutely shred through most armor, so don't get hit by the gun and you're fine. Do get hit and you're not fine. Getting into the battle, here's the Killylark firing its main gun. Of course, it's protected by shielding and armor, which is quite strong. But, of course, due to the fact there's only one main gun, if you get lucky, you completely disarm it. We can see the fire from the Killylark taking down a lot of armor, but not necessarily internals yet. And that dual flamethrower from the Quesada is coming in and doing damage. But a lot of the Killylark is underwater, so it's that flamethrower might not be that effective. And you can see this gun absolutely ripping through those wooden ducts. It's doing a lot of damage. But unfortunately for the Killylark, most of the damage is being done to non-critical areas. And not weapon systems or engines or AIs. The entire center is hollowed out, and it seems like the effectiveness has not been reduced, because of course with front-siders like this you can afford to put all the important stuff at the back. We can see that the flamethrower is keeping the damage going, but the gun is also still firing, so it's very much still on the table who's going to win this. the superstructure of the Killylark is completely gone, but it doesn't need anything but that one main gun, which I believe just went down. Yeah, now it definitely did. And from this point, the match is unfortunately over, because there's no way that the Killylark is going to be able to repair that gun in time with this amount of firepower coming in. Flamethrowers, cram cannons, everything is moving in on the poor Killylark, which will probably mean that it's over. It will probably still take a while to take it down, because the Killylark is mostly underwater, and of course a flamethrower against most underwater targets doesn't work very well. Surprisingly, I know. And this is the point where the battle is just over. Getting into the next one, first of all, you might be wondering, hey, why am I seeing the Platypus class missile boat again? A good question. That's because we had a total of 11 people who participated in the tournament, so we decided to have 2 people. We decided to have 3 different people have 2 matches per battle round, so everyone could play in each of the matches, and they earned 1.5 points per battle one instead of 1 point. So, getting into this matchup, the Platypus class missile boat needs no more introduction since it's already been introduced, but the Queen Bee is quite a different story. It's very maneuverable, it's very quick, and it's very hard to hit with everything but hit scan weapons. And it has approximately infinite small missiles, so it will just grind you down. But it also has a few stronger missiles, which are able to really put a dent in all but the largest craft. Its weaknesses are that it has quite a weak armor, so it's not able to tank that many hits when it comes down to it. And the match is started. The Queen Bee immediately whizzes off using that high speed, and the Platypus class missile boat is firing its missiles at it. But as you can see, they aren't hitting it due to the speed of the Queen Bee. And here comes the swarm, absolutely ramming into the Platypus, while the Queen Bee remains unharmed. The Platypus has been reduced to 95% HP and sends in another volley. But once again, it's just not doing anything. The missiles are too slow. And as the creator of the Platypus, I thought I was prepared against this. I specifically had 5 missiles in the middle, which were faster and more maneuverable. But apparently it wasn't enough. The Queen Bee is just too maneuverable and too hard to hit. And those bees are just grinding me down. But unfortunately, here the Queen Bee goes down. It splashes into the water, probably due to some sort of AI issue. And its missiles aren't really working anymore. Well, okay, they're still working a bit. But they are mostly getting stuck in the water. And that's the big bee. It also has some large missiles, which can be very punishing. So all the bees are not really doing anything, but conversely, the Platypus class can't target underwater threats. Because of course subs were banned in this tournament, so I didn't feel the need to put torpedoes on it. But now he's getting above the water, so it should be targetable now from for the Platypus, but the missiles are still missing. Probably because the radar cross-section is too small. But as you can see, there's those missiles are once again firing. But luckily for me, they are being mostly intercepted and distracted. And the Queen Bee, it's just stuck. Its greater strength, its maneuverability has been completely nullified. But the Platypus still has to hit it, so let's see how this turns out. And there spawns a missile, but something must have gone wrong because it's not flying. So that means that missile will blow up. if it doesn't, I don't know, it's probably because it's underwater, I guess. That's very unfortunate for the Queen Bee, because I do believe it should have won this battle. It would have won if it didn't crash, but it just got it was very unlucky, and now it has to pay the price for that bad luck. The Platypus is still going strong, although it needs a new lick of paint, and its missiles just aren't doing anything. But the Queen Bee, it might take a while for it to explode, probably because it has regulators, but it will explode eventually. Yeah, there it goes. There, actually, that might have been a small missile that crashed into it. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Either way, the Queen Bee has unfortunately lost. And now we get to the next match between the CSV Confidence and the LargeNavyPlane. The CSV Confidence is a decently strong craft with strong plasma cannons, which fire at very rapid velocities. So they're very good at long-range combat. It also has an incredible amount of smoke. Lasers will not touch this thing. And it has good speed against compared to most targets, so it'll be able to keep the enemy where it wants it. Its weaknesses are primarily its very thin construction, so attacks from the top or the bottom are very likely to get through. Then the LargeNavyPlane, its strengths are that it has 2 large torpedoes, which are going to deal a lot of damage if they make contact. Unfortunately, most of the ships in this tournament are airships, so it kind of struggles with that. And it's also pretty fast. Its weaknesses are that it blows up a lot. The ammunition is pretty much unprotected, and the 2 guns don't have ammunition ejection defuses, so a lucky hit can easily take down the entire craft. It also has quite weak front armor, so it does struggle with durability. Getting into the match, and the LargeNavyPlane has been spawned in, and its first move is to fly away from the CSV Confidence, which is firing plasma at it, although luckily for the LargeNavyPlane it's not yet hitting. The LargeNavyPlane uses an attack run algorithm, so it makes sense that it first wants to get away before going in. So now it's going in, it's firing those guns at the CSV Confidence, but it's also being hit by a lot of missiles and a lot of things in general. There's another big hit on the LargeNavyPlane. It's at 87%, and something must have cooked off because it blew up. Probably the ammunition or something. The CSV Confidence is almost completely unharmed. Probably due to the fact that, well, of course, it took down the enemy very quickly, and those plasma cannons are very strong. And of course, the shielding and armor means that it's very hard to kill. Yeah, that's it, basically. And now we get to the last match of the first battle round. On the left side we have the Providence, which is an airship. It's very strong offensively with a quadruple pack, which is housed in the large pot at the front, and it's protected by a lot of heavy armor, so it's very hard to get through it. Its weaknesses are that those pedals cost a lot of resources, and they don't really protect a whole lot. They can close around the middle, but that will basically block all detection, so it will make the ship blind, which is arguably worse than just standing around here. And the propellers on the backside are also quite easily harmed. On the right side we have the Brimstone. It has very strong remotely guided missiles, so most missile distractors won't work on it. It also has quite strong armor, and it's very fast due to being an airship. Its weaknesses are I don't think it has any specific weakness that can be exploited, at least not from my experience with it. And now we are getting into the battle. We can see that the Providence immediately fires its pack, but unfortunately it misses. And the remotely guided missiles from the Brimstone are about to land on the top. Let's see how much damage it does. No, but they mostly miss. So the Providence dodges that. I think that pack hits because it's at 90. The Brimstone is at 97%. So as you can see here, that pack is very strong. It can take off whole chunks at once. Okay, now the missiles are still mostly being dodged, but they're landing some hits. And of course they are incendiary missiles, at least some of them are. So all their damage won't be at the same time, it will take a while. Once again, the pack hits take down a bit of the armor, while the Brimstone responds with its own armament. Those blue trails are very beautiful. So are the moving pedals. Honestly, both of these crafts are some of the most aesthetically pleasing in the tournament, at least in my opinion. So the Providence just got one of its rotors targeted by... or no, that was the pack, never mind. So those missiles are still taking off chunks off the side, while the pack is continuing to do something, but as you can see here, the pedals have closed around the center, which means that it's in a bit of a pickle. The Brimstone is still mostly fine, and it's firing its missiles into the Providence. That pack did hit, so it is doing a lot of damage, but the frontal armor on the Brimstone is just too strong, and it takes too long to get to the actually critical parts of the craft. The Brimstone is very good at defending against these craft like this that just fire in a single line. Although both of them, the Providence is at 87%, so it's not doing great, but it is still flying, which is very good. And in this weather, going down is basically death because of all those waves. Another volley mostly misses. I don't know what's wrong with the guidance on the Brimstone, or conversely, what the Providence is doing right to make sure that so many of those missiles are missing. So another volley from the Brimstone. Once again diving upon the top of the Providence. Getting some hits. Oh, that's one of the propellers. It's really starting to run out of propellers now. And it's at 79% health. So it's not doing great. It's going down. Which does extinguish the... Or does it? And it's coming back up. It just took a little bit of a bath to extinguish the flames. But now it's taking a little more permanent bath, I believe. While the Brimstone is still afloat. Yeah, it's over for the Providence, unfortunately. There it goes. And we get straight into the next battle, which is the Brimstone versus the Penumbra. We don't have those introductionary things anymore because we don't need it. We know all the craft. This is the second battle round. As you can see here, the Penumbra has caused most of the Brimstone's missiles to miss, and it's starting to get in there with its flamethrowers and its flares. There goes another volley, but unfortunately for the Brimstone, the Penumbra dodges it. This also happened with the Providence. I think there's something wrong with the breadboard or something for those missiles, or whatever it's using to guide those that's causing them to miss a lot. the Penumbra is starting to get a lot of damage in with that flamethrower, but I wouldn't count the Brimstone out just yet. After all, it also won against the Providence. That flamethrower, yeah, it's doing a decent amount of damage, as are those missiles, but I don't see a lot of block confetti, so I don't think the internals are being harmed that much. Of course, the entire ship is on fire, so that tends to have negative effects for a ship's durability. More missiles going into the Brimstone. And flames. The Penumbra is fast enough to keep up with the Brimstone, which is very good for it, because otherwise it would never have won this battle. At long range, the Brimstone's missiles are very hard to deal with. And more flames are coming in. More flames, more missiles. They're all just slamming into the Brimstone. It's like a dragon. All those flares and hot things coming out of it. And unfortunately for the Brimstone, it's not really designed for combat like this. Yeah, you can see slowly it's being whittled down. But it is staying afloat pretty well. It's at 79% and doesn't show any signs of falling. There comes the flamethrower again. Just taking down everything in its path. And once again, another volley of flame. The Brimstone is still alright in terms of maneuverability, but it will never win this battle without its missiles being able to hit. Speaking of missiles, I haven't seen many missiles from the Brimstone yet, or the last few minutes, so I don't think they're still operational. And it's fallen into the water, at which point it's just over. And yeah, there it goes. But the Penumbra is also in the water now, so that's very interesting. Getting straight into the next match is the Penumbra, the CSV Confidence versus the Platypus class missile boats, which immediately got hit by something, probably plasma. Plasma is very fast. And the active defenses of the Platypus won't work against it. But these missile volleys are dealing some damage to the CSV Confidence, so it's definitely still up in the air. And those flares are working wonders against the Confidence's missiles. Another volley coming in against the CSV Confidence, and it's taking a lot of hits, a lot of confetti coming out of it, but none of them seem to be important stuff. The Platypus, meanwhile, is going, it seems to be pretty much unharmed. And another volley comes in. Yeah, that plasma is doing a lot of work against the Platypus. So I think it's just a matter of can the plasma of the CSV Confidence take down the Platypus, or at least take down its missile defenses before the missiles of the Platypus will destroy the CSV Confidence. But I don't think it's the case. Okay, there was a bit of lag there. I don't think that's the case. It's the CSV Confidence already appears pretty damaged, and I haven't seen plasma in a while, so I think maybe its main guns are kaput. Here you can also see the maneuverability of the Platypus come into play, as it's trying to stay at that optimum engagement distance. Which is, of course, one of the reasons why airships and hovercrafts and basically anything that isn't a boat in this game are so strong, because they just get double or triple the maneuverability for the same cost. Yeah, the CSV Confidence, it's still aiming at it, but its guns are disabled, which basically means that it's over unless it has repair tentacles which can fix the guns before it ends. It might have been the EMP, because I don't think the gun itself is damaged, and the oh, there it goes. It's flipped. But it appears to be getting itself back on track. Yes, it's back on track. So, showing some remarkable resilience in the PID. But, is it still? No, it's still flying. It's not very stable, but it is still flying. So that's good, but it just doesn't have the time to recover. Every time it comes out of the dive, there comes another volley. Some remarkable resilience from the CSV Confidence. But the Platypus has pretty much completely healed up now. So, yeah. It's ducking and diving. The AI hasn't been hit yet by EMP, so clearly it's protected by rubber, but I don't think the same is true for the local weapons controller. It might not even have surge protectors protecting it. And another volley comes in. I think that's... No, the propeller is still going. Such a remarkable durability. Okay, finally it's over. The Confidence is in the water, and yeah, it's going to despawn now. A great fight, but a victory for the Platypus. And on to the next battle with the Quesada versus the USS Mako. And the Quesada is rapidly closing in, while the USS Mako has to take this time to get in some few early shots. That missile took out a bit. Now those crams are coming in, along with that flamethrower. And it's just burning the entire thing to the ground. But the USS Mako does appear to have the maneuverability to keep its gun on target. And here you can see with all those things coming off, that it does have the firepower to take down the Quesada as long as it will stay afloat for long enough. Like, look, it took out 3 ducks in one shot. It will penetrate this thing eventually. Question is, will it do so before the flamethrower burns it to ashes? And those missiles probably aren't going to do a whole lot. The Quesada is too close, too maneuverable, and those missiles are too long. Come on. I'm really rooting for the Mako here, because I love ships, and it's a shame that they're always the underdog and from the depths. Come on. Am I supposed to be impartial as the maker of this video? I don't know. Anyway, I'm biased towards the Mako. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I think its detection is gone because its accuracy is really suffering. Yeah, I think it's... I don't think it's gonna stand much of a chance like this. Not like this. Its missiles are still missing because the enemy is just too close, and without good detection that gun is completely worthless. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. It's remarkable how the Quesada managed to stay successful this long. I think those crams are damaged. So yeah, the Mako is at 75%. Oh no, I saw a cram shell. That means they're still operational. It's remarkable how no vitals were touched by the Mako's main gun. Look, it just tore through all of this, and it matters not, because there's nothing relevant there. The entire front is basically just a big brick that you hold in front of whoever's shooting at you. And they can't hit you because they'll hit the brick first. And even if they destroy the brick, okay, you fired 1,000,000 crown shells at them already. There's no way to win. Except for flanking it. That works pretty well. Which is why, I think that's probably why the Brimstones and missiles are top attack missiles. It does reduce accuracy against certain targets, but in a situation like this, if it hits the back on such an airship, it's going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, now it's just a waiting game. It's slowly burning the USS Mako to death. Very slowly. Very, very slowly. And another cram shell that does absolutely nothing because of the water. The fire is also doing absolutely nothing. So, yeah, we're probably gonna be here for a while. Do you guys have hobbies? Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. Maybe I'm going to start Civilization soon again. Minecraft maybe, or some Minecraft craft, or From the Depths. If you guys like From the Depths, I am more than willing to make some videos on it. Just let me know in the comment section while the USS Mako is being burned to a crisp over here. Good background. This would be a great poster in the background. Just a ship being burned to a crisp by that massive flamethrower. Slowly cooking the USS Mako. Honestly, it's surprising that the USS Mako is still going strong. I think it must have alloy construction or something, because it's burned so much and it hasn't... oh, yeah, there it goes. Ammunition cooked off. And there it goes. It's gone. Let's get straight into the next matchup with the Queen Bee versus the Providence. The Providence... This is probably going to be a very hard matchup for the Providence, because getting those hits in with packs is pretty hard if they're fixed to your craft. And those bees, they're just gonna do so much damage. Even more bees. Not the bees! It just has too many bees. And yeah, as you can see, it's already missing shots. I think this matchup favors the Queen Bee. To be honest, I think almost any matchup favors the Queen Bee. It's so quick, so maneuverable, and has such an undefensible armament that it's basically going to survive anything you throw at it until it whittles you down. And there's nothing you can do about it, unless you bring like a laser, but who brings a laser in a 100k limits matchup? Yeah, the petals are already down, which is providing a little bit of extra protection, but it comes at the cost of reducing accuracy, which is really something that the craft needs right now. And another volley of missiles just slowly whittling away at the side. The fact that it's coming at the side is probably even worse, because now the big heavy armor blob on the front isn't doing anything. The petals are just, yeah, they're not gonna protect against this, against that. It has just too many bees. An exorbitant amount of bees from the Queen Bee. I should count how many missiles that thing has, but I'm not gonna do it now because, of course, the recording is going. Bang, 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 bang. And it's still, the Providence has still taken next to no damage, but if it can't fire back, even that tiny bit of damage is still going to grant it victory over time. More missiles. Yeah, just too many missiles. There's nothing you can do about it. The facts, packs would be one of the best weapons to fight against this, either packs or lasers, but due to the fact that they're fixed to the front, you don't really have that accuracy and maneuverability that they normally have. So yeah, that's really unfortunate. This could be the craft that takes down the Queen Bee, but it isn't. I should have lost against the Queen Bee. I don't think any craft is really capable of defending against this. And yeah, it's like, did you guys know that when the Spartans, sorry, the Persians send a message to the Spartans saying that they, saying that if they would oppose them, they would blot out the sun with their arrows. This is like that. Like, if you oppose the Queen Bee, it's going to blot out the sun with its missiles. The air between the Queen Bee and its target is 50% missile. And the other 50% is probably missile exhaust. But the Providence is also finding that out, although it's still staying afloat somehow, showing some very resilient construction on the hand of the Providence. Yeah, now it's finally going down. Too many missiles for someone to handle. But no, it's like almost remaining afloat. Very impressive. Like, half its propellers are gone and it's still remaining somewhat afloat. The Queen Bee is just gonna keep pounding on it from all sides. Yeah, there's nothing it can do. It's a slaughter, it's not a battle, it's just an execution. Which is such a shame, because the Providence is such a cool craft, but it can't... I feel like that pack, it would do monstrous work against large, less maneuverable craft, but it has the bad luck to face the Queen Bee. Health below 80% and sink, but it's not sinking. Its propellers are just keeping it afloat somehow. Once again, another volley of bees. Like, if this was a team battle and there were two craft of each, having that resilience would very much help, because it would mean that this craft remains a target for the enemy until it's completely destroyed, while the other can use its firepower. But resilience in a duel is not really useful unless you can also protect your weapons, which I mean, without weapons, your craft is nothing. Also, those bees are absolutely beautifully decorated. That's something that should be appreciated. I'm probably gonna ask the creator how he made those bees, because I have never used missile decorators before. I did consider putting them on the Platypus, but I eventually decided against this because I did not know how they worked. And yeah, the Providence, it's staying alive, but it's like I don't know, a bacteria that is technically staying alive, but it's also being consumed from all sides, and like staying alive provides it nothing in terms of advantage. It's just going to make the torture last longer. That's a Providence right now. Not to demean the creator by comparing his craft to a bacterium, but it is far more beautiful and far better than a bacterium, but in terms of fighting the queen bee, there is no difference because the queen bee is just that strong. Like, it combines all the... It's basically the... how they're called? The flying scroll, but with small missiles instead of large ones. And this is the point where the creator of the Providence surrenders, which is fair because, of course, well, nothing's gonna change this matchup. Yeah, there it goes. And now we have the matchup between the Killylark and the LargeNavyPlane. And the LargeNavyPlane is immediately charging in using those railguns. But the Killylark is kind of at its ideal position here. Yeah, it's already taken out the LargeNavyPlane. This is the ideal matchup for the Killylark because it's able to fire at something coming straight at it. No complicated stuff, just who has the better gun. And in that case, the Killylark will always win. The LargeNavyPlane has been hollowed out, but its ammo is still going strong. But of course, who needs... your ammo is useless without weapons. The Killylark is slowly maneuvering into the into optimal firing position, I think. Maybe the AI is gone or something? No, the local weapon controller, I mean, because it's not targeting the crafts. Well, it doesn't matter, it's won anyway. I think this is just a victory for him. Now, unfortunately, some of the recordings were lost of the battle. I don't know what happened to them, but they're not here. So that leaves us with the scoreboard at the end. The first place goes to the Platypus. It won the tournament with 3 points, a perfect score. Second place is shared between Captain Slime's CSV Confidence, Grey Minneham's Green Bee, and Shadow Master's Penumbra. Oh, sorry, I forgot Vitamin B12's C100 Quesada. And from there, there's the third place for Vitamin B12 and J. Thomas with the USS Mako and the Killylark. And last place, unfortunately, there's Nightingale's LargeNavyPlane. So that's it. I guess this tournament was a lot of fun to run, and I will include in the description a link to the Discord. So I will. So if you guys want to join the tournament and make fun from the Depthcraft like these and face them against each other, it's the perfect place to do it. It's a less competitive environment, so it's very fun for people of all skill levels. I guess that leaves us here. I hope to see you in another video. Have a great day and goodbye.